I'm your host, Kenny Santucci, and I'm sitting here with my girl, Jackie, and we have a very special guest who is a FITAID-sponsored athlete. He's working here with us at the FITAID booth here at the CrossFit Games, but he's an unbelievable, top-ranked in his age bracket, right, 20 to 25, Spartan racer, Isaiah Vidal. That's a sexy name.
Oh,
thank
I
you.
like
I
how you
feel like
said it.
girls don't even have to meet you. They hear your name and they're like, all right, I'm taking my panties off.
No, actually, my real name is actually in Spanish.
What is it?
Isai.
Oh, shit. Well, that's not as sexy.
Wow.
Oh, dude, if I say it in a Spanish accent,
Go ahead, let me hear it.
Isai Vidal.
Oh, wow. I might take my shirt off right now. So give us a little background. So how'd you get into Spartan racing?
Spartan race, it'll be 5 years in December. So I started in 2011 in December.
How old were you?
I
18?
was, shoot, yeah,
17,
18 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
And did you know, like, instantly after running your first race, you're like, I'm fucking good at this?
Like, did you do it for fun the first time, or did it to compete the first time?
I did it to just see what it was about.
Oh, okay.
And sure enough, like, I just placed really well in that heat, and I was like, this is a no-brainer. This is something I should do.
Yeah.
It was like a adrenaline junkie kind of feeling.
Well, so there's a lot of people who do them. Like, how well is well? Like, how good did you actually do?
Top 3.
Top 3.
Yeah.
And you were like, were you trying, or you just went out there? And
I just went out and did it.
Really?
Yeah.
So, from a training standpoint, you obviously didn't train for that, right? Were you doing anything before that?
No, just strictly just
Just a
nothing.
natural
Just-
ability alone. You went
Yeah.
out there and you crushed it. So that brings me to my next question, which is like, do you really need training?
You do.
You do.
You do. You got to condition your body past measures you never thought was possible.
Yeah.
And Spartan race, you can never really train for a Spartan race specifically, like you can train for a CrossFit WOD.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the Spartan races are always different. It's never tailored to something that's specific all the time.
Well, we talked about this. I asked him, I said, how I want to train for Spartan. I was like, how do I? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, you already go to a CrossFit gym. He's like, would you say, like, he's like, you learn to manipulate the movements to make them more Spartan ready, right?
Right,
And I thought
right.
that was cool. I was like, I just want to go outside. But there's nowhere you could go obstacle course train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got
And
to manipulate.
I've heard there are a couple gyms here and there, but I think the more we develop and the more we kind of develop the world of fitness, the more ambiguous training gets and sport gets. Because, you know, when you train for football, you did football practice.
Right.
And now it's like you're training for CrossFit, but it's like CrossFit could be anything. It's
Yeah.
rope climbing, it's
Yeah.
sled pushing. So, and now it's like, now with the birth of Spartan race and all this stuff, it's like there's no real way to train for it because they're going to throw everything and anything at you.
Yeah.
So, what do you feel is the best way to train for that overall general preparedness?
Trail running
Trail running.
for hours.
Really?
Hours for days.
So, I mean, it takes a certain type of mindset to go outside and just start running. Like, how do you do that?
You know, for me, it's like it's been difficult just because of injuries. But it's like, don't get me wrong, I love being on a Stairmaster for hours. Like, I don't mind
Really?
that. Yeah.
Oh.
Like, those are my favorite
I
kind
love
of
the
work.
Stairmaster.
Yo, those are my favorite kind of
love
workouts,
it.
man. You get mango legs, like, let's go.
Love it.
Oh,
dude.
bullshit. I hate this Stairmaster.
Love it.
What a boring...
No,
you
dude.
read a book while you're on there?
I watch videos,
Do you
watch
flirt with the old
movies.
ladies on either side
I
of you? while you're on
FaceTime the lady, do whatever I can.
Yeah?
You know?
So we go to the gym the other day and we hit him up. We're like, hey, you want to go work out? And he doesn't hit us back. We're like, okay, whatever. I get it. Doesn't work out. He shows off all sweaty. And we're like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, I just ran 10 miles to get here. And we're like, you warmed up with 10 miles to get here? He's like, yeah, no big deal.
Really?
And then he does heavy Fran with us. And we're just like, who is this guy?
So you do some CrossFit?
Yeah, it's 1/3 of my training.
Really? 1/3 of your training?
1/3.
So from the time you placed third in your first race to now, how has your training evolved?
Massive amounts of volume.
Yeah.
I mean, you're breaking it down into pieces. So it's like speed work 1 week, hill work the next week, and just building aerobic and anaerobic bases.
Do you have a coach, or are you just doing this?
I used to have a coach, but I veered away from that just because of just issues. But now
Okay.
it's like I just work on my own, just so I can start figuring out and dialing what works for me. How can I train myself to be the best I can be?
Well, you're in such a competitive age bracket from 20 to 25. I feel like that's when you can recover the best. That's when you're,
You would think.
the most ballsy. So, you being a top Spartan athlete here at the CrossFit Games, what do people recognize you? Or are people like, hey man, you're one of the best of the best in what you do.
It's crazy because the communities do collide together. It's a small percentage though.
Yeah.
We're talking pennies here, like
Yeah.
pennies of people that are here that actually are wearing Spartan Race shirts and they recognize who I am.
Yeah.
It's small. It's nothing like, oh, if there was a like CrossFit Games athlete walking around, like it's not
People
like that
go
for me.
nuts.
But a lot of CrossFitters do Spartan race. I just don't think that they realize that they have a community like we do. Because I do
Yes.
Spartan race in Temecula, but it was like fun. I didn't even know you placed. Like when you said I got like whatever place, I was like, oh, there's places.
Yeah.
I just did it like light jogging, but people actually do that as their sport. I didn't really realize
It's
that.
so small. Like we're like less than 1% of the community of people that actually go out there and just try to finish the damn thing as fast as we can.
Okay, so is there any money to be won?
Definitely.
There is.
Definitely, especially the NBC races.
Okay, so you're coming into a sport that's pretty new, you know.
Relatively.
What advice would you give to younger kids who are like, hey man, I see what you do. I love Spartan racing. I love adventure racing. Should I get into this? Should I dedicate my life to this?
You gotta have solidified reasons of why you want to do it in the first place. Like I did it because I wanted to get out of I would say a crap hole of where I was in my life and just needed something to pick me back up and prove that I can continue on. I can move forward with my life and not worry about the obstacles that are ahead because it's eventually going to be over.
Now, do you think it translates from you being physically strong to mentally strong? You get over all these obstacles when you're racing. You can get over them in your head when you're doing other stuff.
Definitely. It's like once you do like a Spartan race, this is the best way I always put it with people. The first time experience that I did a Spartan race was I did it. I was like, wow, this is really corresponds with life. Like we hit issues, we hit family problems, whatever the case may be. Are we going to sit there and cry about it, or we're going to learn to observe how to overcome that fear or that problem in the family or problems with your own personal life, whatever the case may be. Like you just learn how to like overcome those issues and you just keep moving forward. In a Spartan race, you're overcoming obstacles every single time. So like for you to do a Spartan race or whatever obstacle course race you do, it doesn't matter. Like it teaches you a lot about how to tackle life in the same exact
Doesn't
way.
that sound exactly like why people do CrossFit?
It's the same thing, I think everybody's trying to look for that physical application to go on to the next thing. So my last question for you is, if you know, with the birth of the sport, and now I've heard you did some television work.
Yes.
Okay. What was that like?
It's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Because if I can use my body and my mind to change other people's emotions about how they look at themselves, to actually prove to themselves that they can keep pushing forward, I'd rather win that instead of money or trophies or whatever the case may be.
The money always helps out.
It does help.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but it's not the number one goal. I'd rather win people's hearts than anything else.
And I think that's some of the attention. I know a lot of people are saying that you were the guy from TV who you were on the show,
the
NBC
Spartan
show?
Ultimate Team Challenge. Cool. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but I proved to America that the American dream is still alive.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there striving for that, man.
Yeah.
Every day.
What's next? I know you said something about NBC races. What is that?
So,
I don't know what it's like to qualify. I don't know anything.
So I mean, Spartan Race, like now that Spartan Race World Championship's getting like more serious, so it's held in Lake Tahoe, California, in October. Yeah, it's beautiful. And so you have to place in the top 5 in any elite given race throughout the year to qualify for World Championship. You're given this token, or basically a coin that has like a Spartan dude on it, and it pretty much like solidifies your like legitimacy to actually be in the elite heat for the World Championship.
CrossFit Games ticket. You punch your ticket to the CrossFit Games.
Yes.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah.
So I'm an endurance athlete. I've done Ironmans, triathlons, marathons.
Congrats.
And I heard there's a Spartan race where it's like 24 straight hours.
Oh, yeah.
How do you prep for something?
The death race? No, it used to be called the death race. It's now called a gogi.
Okay.
And it's pretty much like the ultimate Spartan challenge. You know, they're just hacking you down, just like manipulating you to the point of just they want to find what weakens you and just tackle you and all that dynamic just to piss you off.
What's the percentage of people who finish something like that?
Less than 15%.
Less than 50. And how many people actually sign up for it?
300 to 400 people.
Really?
Yeah.
Take my name off the list for that shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, Isaiah, it was awesome having
Thank
you
you
on here, man, sharing your stories and stuff with us.
It's a pleasure.
Guys, we'll come back with some other celebrities, athletes, and stay tuned, stay with us, because we're going to be coming back.